Sophie Cunningham just dropped a bombshell that's sending shockwaves through the WNBA community. What she revealed about DeWanna Bonner's exit from the Indiana Fever will make you question everything you thought you knew about professionalism in sports. Before we dive into this explosive revelation, hit that subscribe button if you want to stay updated on all the latest WNBA drama and support our channel's coverage of your favorite players like Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. The Indiana Fever's newest enforcer, Sophie Cunningham, has been absolutely balling out lately, putting up incredible numbers and becoming the defensive backbone this team desperately needed. But it's what she said on her brand new podcast, Show Me Something, that has everyone talking. And trust me, once you hear what really went down with DeWanna Bonner's departure, you'll understand why Fever fans are absolutely livid. Picture this. You're sharing a locker room with someone, playing basketball together, supposedly building chemistry as teammates. Then one day they just vanish. No goodbye, no explanation, not even a text message. That's exactly what DeWanna Bonner did to her Indiana Fever teammates, and Sophie Cunningham just exposed the whole truth. When Sophie's co-host West Wilson asked if there was any explanation from Bonner after she left, his shocked reaction said it all. Not even privately? He asked, completely stunned. Sophie's response? A firm no. Think about that for a second. A Hall of Fame caliber player, someone who's been in the league for 16 years, couldn't even send a simple text to her teammates. Sophie put it perfectly when she said, "There's a way to handle these situations professionally. You send a text saying, 'Sorry, this didn't work out, good luck,' something, anything." But Bonner, complete radio silence. The way Sophie described it on the podcast was brutal but honest. She said she likes DeWanna Bonner, respects her as a Hall of Famer, and acknowledges she's one heck of a basketball player. But when DB got to Indiana, she just wasn't happy. And while Sophie wants people to be happy, she also believes in being professional about it. Her co-host didn't hold back either, calling it exactly what it was. He said, unless you leave on some, and I'm censoring here, F you type stuff, which is exactly what this was. Even Sophie had to agree with that harsh but accurate assessment. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Remember when DeWanna Bonner signed with the Indiana Fever during the 2025 offseason? It was supposed to be the veteran presence that would elevate this young team to championship contention. The Fever brought in Bonner along with Natasha Howard and Sophie Cunningham herself to surround Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston with experienced winners. On paper, it looked like the perfect move. Bonner had won 2 championships with Phoenix, made 6 all-star teams, and was exactly the type of leader a young team needs. But something was off from the very beginning. After starting the first 3 games of the season, Bonner suddenly found herself coming off the bench with Lexi Hull taking her starting spot. By game 9 or 10, according to Fever general manager Amber Cox, Bonner had already expressed her dissatisfaction with the situation. She wanted out, and she wanted out bad. The real reason behind Bonner's unhappiness? Her fiancé Alyssa Thomas had just been traded to the Phoenix Mercury. Suddenly, playing in Indiana didn't seem so appealing anymore. But instead of handling it like the veteran professional everyone expected her to be, Bonner chose the nuclear option. She cited personal reasons for her absence starting June 10th, missing game after game while the Fever tried desperately to find a trade partner. Here's what makes this even worse. The Fever actually tried to accommodate her. They looked for trade opportunities, trying to send her somewhere she'd be happy, preferably Phoenix or Atlanta. But when no suitable trade materialized, they had no choice but to waive her on June 25th. And how did Bonner respond? With a carefully crafted PR statement saying the fit didn't work out. Not a word to her teammates who she'd just abandoned. Not a message to the fans who welcomed her with open arms. Nothing. Sophie Cunningham's revelation confirms what many suspected but couldn't prove. This wasn't just about basketball not working out. This was about someone who put their personal desires above basic human decency and professional courtesy. When you're making $200,000 to play basketball and you can't even send a text to your teammates, that's not just unprofessional, it's disrespectful on a fundamental level. The aftermath of this revelation makes Bonner's return to Indianapolis even more significant. When she came back wearing a Phoenix Mercury jersey, Fever fans let her hear it. They booed her relentlessly, and you know what? They had every right to. Phoenix Mercury players like Kalia Copper lost their minds over the booing, calling it disrespectful and acting like Fever fans had committed some unforgivable sin. But Sophie Cunningham gets it. She said on her podcast that if you're going to leave like that, you have to expect to get booed. It comes with the territory. What's particularly rich is how other WNBA players rallied around Bonner, acting like she was some victim of unfair treatment. The disconnect between how players view these situations and how fans view them is staggering. In any other professional sport, if a player forced their way out of a team without even telling their teammates goodbye, they'd get booed in every arena they entered for the rest of their career. But somehow, in the WNBA, fans are expected to just smile and cheer for someone who showed zero respect for their team or city. Sophie Cunningham deserves massive credit for her honesty here. She could have taken the easy route, given some generic answer about respecting DeWanna's decision and wishing her the best. Instead, she told the truth, even though she knew it would ruffle feathers. She's already getting heat from certain corners of WNBA social media, but Sophie doesn't seem to care. She's focused on winning with the Fever, and her recent performances show she's backing up her words with action. The timing of this revelation is particularly interesting. The Fever have been absolutely rolling lately, with Sophie Cunningham emerging as a key contributor. She's hitting threes, playing lockdown defense, and bringing the exact energy and professionalism this team needs. Meanwhile, Bonner is in Phoenix playing alongside her fiancé, which was clearly all she wanted from the beginning. But here's the thing that really gets me. DeWanna Bonner is 37 years old. She's been in this league since 2009. She knows how this business works. She knows that when you sign a contract, you're making a commitment not just to an organization, but to your teammates and the fans. To just ghost everyone when things don't go your way, that's not the behavior of a leader or a Hall of Famer. That's the behavior of someone who only cares about themselves. The irony is that Bonner's departure might have been the best thing that happened to the Indiana Fever. They found their identity without her, with players like Sophie Cunningham stepping up huge. The team chemistry is better, the energy is better, and they're playing with a chip on their shoulder that wasn't there before. Sometimes addition by subtraction is a real thing, and this might be the perfect example. What Sophie's revelation also does is vindicate Fever fans who felt disrespected by how Bonner handled her exit. They weren't overreacting. They weren't being unreasonable. Their favorite team's big free agent signing had literally ghosted the entire organization without so much as a goodbye text. If that doesn't warrant some boos, what does? The contrast between how Sophie Cunningham conducts herself and how DeWanna Bonner handled her exit couldn't be more stark. Sophie came to Indiana ready to work, ready to compete, ready to be part of something special. She's embraced the community, connected with fans, and shown nothing but professionalism, even when discussing someone who clearly acted unprofessionally. That's the kind of player you want on your team. That's the kind of person you want representing your organization. Moving forward, this situation should serve as a lesson for everyone involved. For players, it's a reminder that how you leave matters just as much as how you arrive. For teams, it's a warning about the importance of due diligence when signing veterans who might have other priorities. And for fans, it's validation that expecting basic professionalism from millionaire athletes isn't too much to ask. Sophie Cunningham pulling back the curtain on this situation took courage. She knew she'd face backlash from the old guard of the WNBA who protect their own no matter what. But she also knew that Fever fans deserve to know the truth about what really happened. And the truth is that DeWanna Bonner showed a complete lack of character in how she handled her departure from Indiana. The fact that Bonner couldn't even muster up a simple text message to say goodbye speaks volumes about who she really is beneath the Hall of Fame resume. You can be the greatest player in the world, but if you can't show basic respect to the people you work with every day, what does that say about you as a person? Sophie Cunningham knows the answer to that question, and now thanks to her honesty, we all do too. This whole saga also highlights the changing dynamics in the WNBA. The old guard thought they could do whatever they wanted without consequences. But with players like Sophie Cunningham willing to speak truth, and fans who actually care enough to hold players accountable, those days are over. The WNBA is becoming a real professional sports league with real stakes and real consequences for your actions. In the end, the Fever are better off without someone who didn't want to be there. They've got Sophie Cunningham bringing the energy and professionalism they need. They've got young stars like Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston who are fully committed to building something special in Indiana. And they've got fans who will ride or die for players who show them respect and show up every night ready to compete. The message is clear. If you want to be part of the Indiana Fever, you better be all in. No half measures, no looking for the exit as soon as things get tough, and definitely no ghosting your teammates when you decide to leave. Sophie Cunningham gets it. DeWanna Bonner clearly didn't. And that difference tells you everything you need to know about why one is thriving in Indiana while the other is already forgotten. What do you think about Sophie Cunningham's revelation? Was DeWanna Bonner wrong for how she handled her exit? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more exclusive WNBA content. We're covering all the biggest stories in women's basketball, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Until next time, this has been your source for the real truth about what's happening in the WNBA.